No.
Okay, so I've received complaint exhibits 2. Then it's been that I was told that 3 may not be needed at this point, so I'm not going to deal with that yet. Okay, 4 is the board member list, and dealing with 23 to 31 bait stamp number. Any issue?
No.
Okay, the contract and understanding is that we got a series of different ones of these, but C5 being the contract dealing with that June 8th of 2013 bait stamps 32 to 34. Any issue regarding receipt of that?
No.
Okay, and dealing with the contract and dealing with from 2005 through 6, 35 to 38. Any issue with that?
Counsel, and I apologize, Judge. Counsel, is this the one you want replaced with the new exhibit that's signed?
Well, I want the signed exhibit. I don't know that it's necessary replacing it, but.
Well, then I object to, then I would ask for foundation on which one is the contract. I don't want to have multiple versions. I want the sign. If I agreed to stipulate to that signed contract, so that's where I would leave it. So I can't stipulate.
Okay, so I am not at this point, Mr. Reinhardt, in the matter and the circumstances that there'll need to be testimony if you want to offer it again. I'm not receiving complaints exhibit 6 at this point, and so so it's marked essentially, or I've identified, but it hasn't been received or rejected at this point. Okay, the complaints exhibit is contract signatures. Now, is this the same, the issues regarding that too?
No.
Yes.
Okay.
From my perspective, this is Terciano, I apologize. My perspective is if we have a contract that was, I thought when we stipulated yesterday to, or I forget which day that was, to the contract that was signed, I confirmed that with my board. I sent that to them and said, is this the signed contract? They said it appeared to be. So I don't know what this is.
Okay, I'm just dealing with at this point. Okay, then this isn't the same thing as I kind of anticipated that it would be in the matter. So part of the thing at this beginning thing is just to sort of find out what we got disputes of and what's agreed at this point for reasons. So C7's in the same boat.
All right. And just to clarify, Judge, I think Attorney Terciano misunderstands what that document is. Those are contracts that Ms. Denman signed on behalf of the association, not contract between Bruner and Associates and the association. But that's fine. We'll lay the foundation and get it in that way. It's not a problem. Okay,
then complaints exhibit 8 is bait stamps 41 through 54 of meeting minutes from 12 to 15. Any issue with, my understanding is that some of these have on them. Is that right? When I look through there, some of these have writing on them. In the matter that I want to check regarding what's the,
I'm just looking through it right now, Judge, and I don't see any writing on 8.
Okay, so just to check and dealing with the matter as to what I'm, because that at some point that I saw some things that had writing on them, and I want to. Where does that start? I'm just trying to go through.
I believe that is on ERD 243, Judge.
Okay, so not until,
That's on a quick glance. I can't attest that that's entirely accurate. And then 253.
okay, well, I'm just dealing with a check in that, because I knew that there were, okay, so we're not, yeah, I'm not seeing and dealing with my view. Okay, so I'm seeing it clean so far as far as what I've looked as well. So is it clear or in the process as to whose writing that is?
I believe it's Ms. Denman's, but I can certainly ask her during her testimony.
But Mr. Trishano, is that, are you disputing that that is her writing on it? He's talking about,
No, I don't care whose it is. That doesn't, I don't, that's the only writing I've seen so far. I don't.
And
okay,
I would agree with them. To me, it's not germane.
okay, well, whenever there's writing on these things, I want to check. So there's not, to the extent there is on those things that it's not something, it's either the party is either stipulating it's Ms. Denman's or it's not somebody, it's not a concern. Is that fair?
Yes.
Okay, so in dealing with the complaint exhibit 8, any objection to receipt?
None, Your Honor.
Okay, then to 9, which is 55 to 92, any issue with that?
None, Your Honor.
Okay, then respondents complaints 9 is received. What about 10, which is 93 to 113?
None, Your Honor.
Okay, I've received complaint exhibit 10. How about 11, which is it's mistyped. It should be 114, and I'm just correcting on mine. It should be 114 to 133 because it's a typo on your exhibit list. Just to notice, it says 14 to 133, and it's 114. Any issue with complaints 11?
No, Your Honor.
Okay, that's received. The 12, which is 134 to 170.
No objection, Your Honor.
Okay, and how about 13, which is 171 to 211?
No objection, Your Honor.
I'll received 13, about 14, which is 212 to 259.
Did you say, I thought we were on 16, Your Honor. Am I on the wrong?
No, we're on 14. At least I'm on 14.
Oh, pardon me. Yes.
Which is
Yes.
212 to 259.
No objection.
Okay, and then we're dealing with 15, which is 260 to 296.
No objection.
Okay, I received complaint exhibit 16 and complaints exhibit 16 is 297 through 301. Any objection to that?
No, Your
Okay, so then we have identified as complaints exhibit 17 a signed contract, which is, let me just check on these things that I don't have. Okay, so that is. Okay, that is, duplicate bait stamp numbers 302 to 305. And in my understanding, you have a stipulation to that in the receipt of it, correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
Yes,
Okay.
that's correct.
So then I have marked and received complaints exhibit 17. All right, is there anything that we need to do prior to Ms. Denman's testimony?
Not from my perspective, Judge.
I intend to use my exhibit list on cross with Ms. Denman.
Okay.
Would you mind, Judge, since I only have 7 exhibits, would it make sense for us to go through mine as well?
Sure, if you want to, we can do that and read the things the other direction. Okay, so that the response exhibit 1 is this respondent's a duplicate, the 302 to 304. Let me just.
Yeah, let me make sure I've got that one too, because that was the late, that's the one we just skipped to. And I mean, I'll pull that up because I know Peter sent me that.
Okay, that's the 15 contract.
Yeah, and I know you sent it as well to me, Judge.
Right, and you should have a bait stamp that's that means that I got it.
All right, let me make sure I printed out the bait stamped.
Right.
Exhibit E17 302. Where are the bait stamps on this?
It's on the bottom.
Yeah, I can't see this one, so why not? Hold on 1 second, Judge. I think I found it. Yeah, I've got it.
Okay.
Got it.
All right. So, Mr. Reinhardt, do you have any objection to stipulation and admission to respondents to 1?
To R1, no, Judge, that's fine.
It's fine. It's fine. Not no. It's not.
It is acceptable.
Okay.
For the
All right.
impreciseness of my language.
Okay. So response 2, 305 to 306, the correspondence from her to the members.
I have no objection to that, Judge.
Okay. I receive response 2. And what about response 3, which is the 1099 form from Bruner and Associates?
No objection.
Okay, I've received respondents 3. And what about response 4, the contract letter?
No objection on foundation. I would like to preserve an objection on relevance.
Okay, well, in dealing with that, so you don't have an objection to that, so why don't we deal with that? So I will, let's see.
I potentially have a relevance objection.
I know, well, then we might as well deal with that, and that's on, what numbers were that again? I'm going to check by.
It's ERD 308, 309, and 310.
Okay, I'm trying out seeing whether it'll accept. Okay, and Mr. Trishano, What is that being offered for?
Well, this was a document that the petitioner sent out to many members of the association on a GoFundMe campaign. And it was sent out right after she resigned or refused to participate in a new bid for the contract. And it indicates her state of mind, her consideration of her position as the owner of an entity, her entering into a new business rather than claiming any employment issues. And so it comments on, in fact, it says on the last page of that exhibit, she's talking about recent changes and what to do with the law, et cetera. And I think it's important because it's being sent to the very people, and that's what I'll have her testify to, that she argues had fired her as an employee.
Okay, I will receive it in the situation that among the things that I note in the manner is that not seeing, unless I'm missing something, Mr. Reinhardt, some particular prejudicial issue on this. Is there something that you're claiming is prejudicial for receipt of this?
I'm not claiming anything's prejudicial, but this pertains to something she sent out after the relationship was severed. It really says nothing about what the relationship at the Water Well Association involved, and so it's not relevant or germane to any issues in this case.
I will receive it. I think it's certainly, as far as the it is information about the relationship, and also I just simply would note that in this area, the boundaries of what the commission will consider relevant in those situations is unclear, and clearly what they're asking me to look at is rather broad, and so I think it's better to receive it. Okay, what about response to 5? No issue?
No issue.
Okay, I'll receive response 5. What about the printout on date stamps 3/12 to 13?
No objection.
Okay, I'll receive that. What about the transcript? Well, the deposition at this point, do you know, do you want the deposition used as a evidentiary, or is this just for impeachment? Mr. Tristano.
I'm asking that it be admitted as evidence because through and through it makes there are relevant questions to the very issues that the commissioner seeks to address today.
Okay, do you have any objection of this as an evidentiary? I mean, my understanding is that under 804 that depositions of party opponents are receivable for any purpose. Any objection or view that there's any particular parts of it that should not be received? Mr. Reinhardt?
I just want, just 1 second, Judge. You said 80404. I'd just like to preserve my objection. You may be correct that as an admission, her deposition is properly admitted because she is a party opponent. I am just not entirely certain on that issue.
Okay, well, you know, my practice is that you deal with them issues at the time rather than waiting for something else. And let's see, okay.
The rule, I think, is 80407 sub 1 sub B. The deposition of a party may be used by an adverse party for any purpose.
Yeah, that's what sounds what I was remembering. Does that deal with your issue?
Well, I don't know that that says that you submit the entire deposition as an exhibit. That's what I'm saying.
Okay. Well, I'll receive it in the matter that my understanding is that you don't have any claim that there's some part of it that's not, that is somehow beyond the scope or irrelevant for some purpose, and certainly that this has been, provided. It was marked as an exhibit. There is an indication of, that was something that, if something is marked as an exhibit, then there is some suggestion that it might be used as one. So I will view that you put on notice, and I will receive it.
Well, one other comment on that, Judge. There are numerous objections in the transcript. And so I would just make it clear for the record that it's being admitted subject to the court's determination of those objections.
That's fine. And and so in the briefing, and this is dealing with a, and it just simply to note right now we have 30 days simultaneous no response. Mr. Tishano, if certain things are raised and you viewed that they need to be ruled on and that for those purposes a responsive briefing is needed, then please let me know. One of the things in the matter is that I am not a jury. It's kind of hard to sort of, we have a clear legal test that we're applying in this matter. It's harder in the situation to see how that would, given the issues for this case, be prejudicial to my decision. But I just will note that since you asked for the right to make those, if you view that that you need rulings on those, then then we will. Then I have to give you a chance, Mr. Tishano, in order to, object to those if you need rulings on those. But again, that in the circumstances that in reserving the circumstance, Mr. Reinhardt, that please judge as to whether or not that it is something of, that of concern that is worth the dealing with, it needs a ruling on it. I know in the matter that the extent to which, having this admitted that it may, the extent to which that it, the extent to which that this makes it so that, okay. All right, I just gotten a warning in the situation. Still everybody able to hear me because I've notified that somehow that the visual is gone currently. Everybody's able to still hear me, is that correct?
Yes, I can hear you, Judge. It's Tersh.
Oh, now I can't see you.
Well, I just got a thing saying that there was a, please let that there's an issue with the visual, but I'll keep going as long as we can still hear each other as far as that is in the matter. But if among the things in dealing with the circumstances is if that there is something that is missed when you come back, then we may have to, one of the things I have to deal with is that we may have to come back in. Mr. Reinhardt, are you still there?
Tershano is here, Judge.
Mr. Reinhardt, are you still there? not sounding like it. Mr. Reinhardt? Ms. Denman, you're still there auditorially?
Yes, I am, and I can see you.
Okay, well, that's good. I'm sure that's a pleasure. So we need to wait until dealing with Mr. Reinhardt is back with us. Mr. Reinhardt? Yep, now he's no longer on the list, so he'll need to sign back in again.
I will say this, Judge, I don't know what conditions are statewide. I'm not much of a weather guy, but I do know that we had tremendous thunderstorms overnight here in the Milwaukee area.
Yeah, we did. I was
Okay.
here.
So I don't know for sure what that means for connectivity all day long. I don't think my problem was that. My problem, I think, had to do with my cell phone, and I don't know why that happened, because I had just tested it the other day with you, and then I tested it again with some of my clients, and it worked. So that's what surprised me this morning, unable to join by my cell phone.
Well, I've been warned from our previous thing that there are occasions where we just have to hang with things and wait for him to get back. I'm sure Ms. Denman is eagerly awaiting her chance to testify, which is coming up next. Up, he is reappearing.
Judge?
Yeah.
All right, I got kicked out somehow, so.
Yeah, well, dealing with, I got a thing that's saying that there was atmospheric sunspots or something. I don't know, and we're not seeing visuals here right now. My understanding is that nobody that the visual is may not be received dealing with the situation, but I was just saying, if you lose out and come back, then we'll just have to go over some things. If we have to go over it again, we go over it again. That's just the way it works. My understanding is, anything else that we need to deal with prior to Ms. Denman's testimony?
No, Judge.
Okay, then, ma'am, and I'll have to deal with it, assume that, yeah, I wish I could see you do this, but anyway, would you raise your right hand?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Do you solemnly swear the testimony about to give in this matter be the truth, whole truth, and nothing but the truth? Okay, and I saw you I saw you for a moment to see that your hand was up and you said I do, so that was good. Okay, then in dealing with, please state and spell your name.
Cynthia Lee Denman. Cynthia is Cynthia. A-N.
Okay, then, whoops, we lost him again. Whoop, are you still there, Mr. Reinhardt?
Reinhardt's here, although I'm getting words cut off as Ms. Denman speaks, but we'll do what we have to do.
Yeah, and if you need to repeat it, then do it. I got some, cut off too. So,
As did I.
okay. All right. Well, then, whenever that happens, is saying just asked to have it repeated in the situation. I am now seeing picture for her, so it seems to be getting somewhat better, and I don't have the fatal triangle of doom up on my screen anymore. So that showed up. I will keep an eye out for it. So Mr. Reinhardt, then go ahead with your questioning.
Judge, just a question. I have a triangle on you and a triangle on Ms. Denman. Does that mean something?
Well, if you kind of put your mouse on it, it says dire warnings on something. So, if you put your mouse on it, you see what it says?
No, it didn't. Due to low bandwidth or local computer conditions, video is not currently available.
That's
okay.
Yep.
All right, Cindy, can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay. All right. I'm ready to proceed, Judge.
Okay. And then go ahead.
Cindy, are you a high school graduate?
Yes, I am.
Did you have any formal education after high school?
I took CNA training. Otherwise, no.
Okay. Have you earned any degrees after high school?
No.
Okay. Do you have any legal training or background?
No.
Throughout some of the documents in the record, there's an individual referred to as Cindy Wachter, W-A-C-H-T-E-R. Is that you?
Yes, it is.
Okay. When did you first have any involvement with the Wisconsin, the WWWA?
I believe it was, I thought it was in 2008, but I went back and looked through my taxes, and it looks like it was in 2004.
Okay. And prior to 2004, did you have any involvement with the Wisconsin Water Well Association?
Yes, when I worked for Pat Essie.
Okay. Let's talk about that. Who is Pat Essie?
Could you spell that last name, please?
It's E-S-S-I-E.
Okay, go ahead.
Pat Essie was a lobbyist, and he hired me to do accounting in his office, and things just evolved, and I ended up doing trade association work.
Okay. And when did you start working for Mr. Essie?
In 1998.
Okay. And between 1998 and 2004, did you perform work for Mr. Essie associated with the Wisconsin Water Well Association?
Yes.
And could you generally describe for the judge what work you did for Mr. Essie on behalf of the WWA from 1998 through 2004?
I did membership information. I did their accounting. I did convention.
Could you repeat that? I lost some words.
I did convention. I helped with the convention. I did I helped with the continuing education programs.
Did you say accounting also?
Yes.
Anything else that you did for Pat Essie on behalf of the WWWA?
Not that I can recall at this present moment.
And were you an employee of Mr. Essie when you're performing this work on behalf of the WWWA?
Yes.
Just a little background. Could you explain to the judge what the Wisconsin Water Well Association is?
It's a trade association of well drillers and pump installers that care about the water in Wisconsin, and they hold a convention every year. They do continuing ed for credits because they need to have credits in order to hold their license. It's just a group of well drillers and pump installers and suppliers. There's membership for students or other interested individuals in the water industry.
At some point, did you form Brunner and Associates LLC?
Yes.
When was that formed?
In 2004.
Why was it formed?
Well, if we go back, I left Pat Essie's to go and work for the Water Well Association specifically. And the president at the time, who was Doug Sorensen, asked if I would be paid with no taxes taken out.
I'm going to object as far as this hearsay testimony regarding what someone said who isn't here. So
my understanding is that the person that would be is there any dispute that he was the president of the organization?
I don't have any idea who she's talking about, but if she's offering some statement made by someone who's not here today for the truth of the matter it's asserting, then I would make an objection that that's hearsay.
It's an exception to hearsay, Judge, because this individual was a president of the association engaging in business on behalf of the association.
And also dealing with that, just hold on a second, and I'm my understanding is that statements made by a party opponent are an exception to the hearsay rule, and it is an action by the party to ask that. Now, my understanding is that this person is claimed to be the president. If you establish that they are not, then that's another thing. But as the president of the organization, that the conversation and things involved in that situation, I will overrule the objection.
And pardon me, Commissioner Judge, I apologize. I just want to make one statement for the record. There is an exception to hearsay, but there are three components to that exception. And the first component is, of course, establishing that this is the party opponent, which would require some showing agency. The second is that some statement made during the existence of that agency. And the third, that those statements concern a matter within the scope of that agency. And so I would just ask that I would resume my objection because there's no foundation as to that, such that we can go right into offering statements made for the truth of the matter asserted.
Okay, well, the matters and the circumstances, and my understanding is that at this point anyway, that in order to establish those things, obviously, that he needs to elicit testimony. If I deny him the opportunity to establish that this is covered by that exception, then he can't do that. Now, you are reserved the right to dispute it. And I also would note that we are not under 227 that the that we are not governed precisely by the rules of evidence, but by the other things. And you can read. I don't have the quote on that handy, but as far as our standards, my view is that need to allow the chance to sort of show what the conversation was, and you have a right to dispute that whether I should consider this or not. Certainly the issue as to, given the question in this case, which involves whether or not somebody is an employee, the issue about how they are paid and whether taxes are taken out is certainly probative or relevant to the question. And so I will overrule the objection, but say that after hearing this matter, if you are claiming that because they haven't met those conditions, that what is stated should be disregarded or cannot be relied on, then you can do that in your brief.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Cindy, in 2004, did you know who Doug Sorensen was?
Yes, he was the president.
How did you know?
Could you spell his?
I'll object to the leading nature of the question. I mean, he's asking, do you know this person's name? And she hadn't mentioned any name. So I would ask that on direct, at least, these questions be not leading.
Well, Judge, we have to be able to get the witness to the subject matter we're talking about.
Right, and I just would note in the matter that as far as certainly asking who somebody is, it isn't going to taint. I mean, my understanding is that what's wrong with leading is that it taints the testimony and makes it unreliable or less probative than if it wasn't. And in the circumstances that certainly a question as to what somebody's position is hardly, it is a purely factual matter in the circumstances, which of course that you can present evidence to the contrary. So I overrule the objection. And could you spell his last name, please?
Sorensen, S-O-R-E-S-O-N.
S-O-R-E-S-O-N?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and answer the question, what was his position?
He was the president of the Water Well Association at the time.
And in 2004, how did you know that he was the president of the Water Well Association at the time?
Because I was working with the association through Pat Essie's office.
Did you have any discussions with Mr. Sorensen in 2004 about you performing work for the association?
Yes, Pat had been paying himself early, and I went to Mr. Sorensen and explained what was going on. And at that point, he asked me if I would be interested in running the association. And I said that I would. And he asked about whether or not I would be willing to do not have taxes taken out. And I really wasn't sure about that because I didn't know anything about it, about what I needed to do or And so that's when I formed Brunner and Associates.
Okay. So when did you form Brunner and Associates?
2004.
Okay. Is that entity still in existence?
No.
During the time, do you know when it ceased to be in existence?
I don't know.
Yeah. In any event, focusing on the time period 2004 through the end of 2017, who owned Brunner and Associates LLC?
I did.
Did Brunner and Associates LLC have any employees at any time?
No.
In 2004, did Brunner and Associates enter into some type of a contract or an agreement with WWWA?
I believe that I did. I couldn't find anything that far back.
Okay. In any event, during what period of time did Brunner and Associates LLC perform services for WWWA?
From 2004 through 2017. I think it was March or April of 2017.
Would you look at Exhibit C17, please?
Okay.
Could you
Hold on a second. Hold on a second. And 17, what date stamp number are you looking at right now?
302. That's 302, Judge, for Shano here.
Cindy,
Just hold on a second here. Oh, I know. Is that respondents? Oh, that's 17. That's why, right?
yes, Judge.
Okay. All right. All right. Go ahead. I got it.
Can you identify what Exhibit C17 is?
It's a contract between the Water Well Association and myself for November 1st, 2015 through October 31st, 2016.
And do your initials appear on this contract?
Yes.
And do you see some other initials on the contract?
Yes.
Do you know whose initials those are?
Terry Marshall.
Okay. And does your signature appear on the last page of Exhibit C17?
Yes, it does.
Okay. Did you have a contract with the Wisconsin Water Well Association subsequent to October, a written contract subsequent to October 31st of 2016?
No.
Did you continue to, did Brunner and Associates LLC continue to perform services for the association after October of 2016?
Yes.
During the time period 2004 through 2017, did the Wisconsin Water Well Association provide any office equipment to Brunner and Associates LLC?
Yes, they did.
And when did the association provide office equipment to Brunner and Associates? In other words, during what period of time?
They provided, when I left Pat Essie's, the only thing that I took with me was what was belonging to the association, and that was some filing cabinets. Otherwise, I didn't have anything. I didn't have a computer. I didn't had to purchase everything.
Okay.
So throughout 2014 through 2017, they purchased everything from computers to laptops to copiers to the paper to pens to whatever I needed, they provided.
Would you look at Exhibit C2, please?
And what's the date stamp number? I know it. I think I know that.
It's ERD 2 through 11, Judge. Cindy, do you have Exhibit C2 in front of you?
Yes, I do.
Could you tell us what this document is?
It's an account of QuickBooks of different accounting like the general business, the office supplies, equipment, the different accounts from the QuickBooks from the Water Well Association.
While Bruner and Associates was performing services for the association, did you have any duties and responsibilities with respect to QuickBooks?
Yes, I did the accounting. I wrote the checks and made purchases and.
Okay, I'm looking at the first page of Exhibit C2, which is Bates marked ERD 0002. And could you explain to the judge if any purchases of laptops or computers are shown for Bruner and Associates are shown on the first page of this document?
Yes, on 11/21/2014, there was a laptop purchase. On 5/1/2015, there was a new computer we had built by Computer Support Plus. There was a new monitor purchased on 6/20, and then a new copier on 6/27/2016 was purchased.
And how were those things paid for?
I probably paid for them with the debit or credit card that I had. I believe it was a credit card.
Would you go to the next page, please? And before I get there, during the time period 2004 through 2017, was any office furniture provided by the association to Bruner and Associates to use?
Yes, there was a desk and a chair.
Okay. And if you look at the second page, during the time period 2004 through 2017, did the association purchase any subscriptions to be used by computer subscriptions to be used by Bruner and Associates?
Yes. I can't read the dates, they're so tiny, but I believe it was 12/13. Go to mypc.com was a subscription. A AVG virus subscription. Go to meeting.com. The QuickBooks subscription, Constant Contact subscription. They paid for the post office box subscription. Intuit. And I think I said Constant Contact already.
Yeah, and what was Constant Contact?
That was a email program that you could send out emails to a bunch of people all at the same time. Notices, newsletters, things like that. You could do surveys with it.
Who paid for those subscriptions?
The Water Association,
And who was the licensee for those subscriptions?
the Water Association.
And who used those subscriptions?
I did.
When you say you mean Bruner and Associates?
Yes.
And then are the office supplies that you referenced as being purchased by the Association for Bruner and Associates shown anywhere on Exhibit C2?
I don't office supplies.
Would you look at page ERD 006?
6 has Office Depot, Visa, Walmart, fax machine cartridges, envelopes, copy paper, Microsoft Office for the computer, staples.
Okay, that suffice. That's fine.
Okay.
Let me change gears a second. Did you have a title you used when Bruner and Associates was performing services on behalf of the association?
When I started, I was the executive director, is what most of the board called me. And later on, there was, I guess you would call it a power struggle. And I was told that I was the executive secretary versus the executive director.
Would you look at Exhibit C1, please? Bates number ERD 001. Are you there?
Yeah,
I'm there.
And I'm good.
Can you tell us what Exhibit C1 is, Cindy?
They are business cards that have my name and executive director on them.
Who provided the business cards to you?
I actually printed them, but the board knew that I had them, that I was handing them out.
Where would you hand them out?
At conventions, continuing ed, if I did a membership visit, when I went to the national convention, that's about it. Farm progress days, whatever I spent.
When you were performing services, strike that, when Bruner and Associates LLC was performing services for the association, did Bruner and Associates send out any correspondence on behalf of the association?
Yes, I sent out the newsletter, and that was a quarterly newsletter. And then I did a secretary's report, which was a monthly report that I did, and it was given to the board at the board meetings.
All right, let me go back. What I'm trying to get at is whether or not you sent out correspondence on behalf of the association to third parties where you would sign a letter.
Yes, new membership packets. I would sign the letters. If I was sending information to speakers, I would sign the letters. To suppliers, I would sign the letters.
And when you sent out letters to speakers and suppliers and new members, did you have some form of letterhead, or what did you use?
I printed letterhead.
And what did the letterhead you printed state?
It just had Wisconsin Water Well Association, our address and our phone number,
Okay.
and my email.
Okay. When you signed those letters that you sent out, how did you sign them?
Cynthia Denman, Executive Director.
When you sent out the letters, did any of the letters refer to Bruner and Associates LLC?
No.
During the time period 2004 to 2017, did you have an email account and address that referenced the association?
Yes.
When did you first get that?
I'm really not sure. We set up a website probably in like 2012 or 13, and then we had our emails go through that website. Before that, I believe it was just like through CenturyLink or CenturyTel. It was just like either C. Denman at WisconsinWaterWell.com, at CenturyLink or CenturyTel.
How did that change in 2012 or 2013 when the website was set up?
The emails just went through the website instead of having them go through like CenturyLink or whatever. It was set up so that they would go to the web. It would direct the emails would go through the website and then come to me.
And what was your email at that time?
I can't recall. I want to say it was still something C. Denman, Wisconsin Water Well.
Okay. While Bruner and Associates LLC was providing services for the association, did it have any responsibilities regarding website development?
After we started the website, again, it was 2012 or 2013 when we decided that we needed to up our game on the website. Dan Sheremy put the website together for us, and I met with him and had several lessons or classes on how to go in through the back of the website and put on ads and add membership and add suppliers during convention time. And
Do you know who paid for that training that was provided to you?
the Water Well Association.
And how to spell Dan's last name?
Sheremy, I believe, is CHERMAY.
I'd ask that you look back and now at Exhibit C17, the third page, which is marked ERD 304.